Today's video is the first of two-part series of how I film my bikepacking rides. The first part is going to go over all the camera and video equipment that I carry with me on my bikepacking trips. And the second part that I'll release in the coming months will be how I actually film my bikepacking rides. Hey, I'm Mick and welcome to my channel. Now, the amount of filming equipment that I take is definitely not for everyone. But for me, it's part of my hobby. It's part of what I do when I go bikepacking. It's part of the enjoyment that I get is filming and recording these and then producing a film at the end of it. By the end of this video, hopefully you'll have an understanding of the gear that I carry and why I do. I've been using the Micro Four Thirds cameras now for about 7 years since I got into filming my rides. I started off with a Panasonic G9ii, but very quickly realised that what I actually wanted out of a camera, the G9ii couldn't deliver. So I soon upgraded to the Panasonic GH5. The GH5 is a fantastic camera for recording video. I eventually got to the point where I started to feel confident using a camera and I wanted to start improving my photography skills. And late last year, I upgraded to the Panasonic Lumix G9ii. Now, the reason I upgraded to this camera is probably a couple of things. One is it had all of the features that the GH5 has, but its in-body image stabilization is absolutely fantastic, that I can actually ride my bike and pedal while holding it in my hand, and it seems to work all right if I slow down the frame rate when I'm editing. A couple of other really good things about Panasonic cameras that I carry is they both have dual SIM cards in it. The really good thing about the dual memory card slots is when I've filled up the memory cards, I can then separate those into different places on my bike. This just has a redundancy feature in it, so it means that if one of them happens to get damaged or lost, I've still got the other memory card with all my footage on it. The lenses that I take really depends on the bike that I'm taking. If I'm using my Surly ECR, I'll take 2 lenses, and that's just because the geometry of the bike's more comfortable, so I carry a different bag for my cameras, which I'll talk about soon. The 2 lenses that I'll take are the Leica 10 to 25mm f1.7. It's a little bit bigger than a normal Micro Four Thirds lens. It's super sharp and it's really fast at f1.7, which means that it's a lens I can use for astrophotography as well. The other lens that I take with me when I use the Surly ECR is a Leica 50 to 200mm f2.8 to 4.0. Now this lens, it has a lot of reach, so it's really great for compressing that distance between the subject and the background. It's also okay for doing macro photography. I've been using my gravel bike a lot more for bikepacking lately. And because of this setup, I only wanted to carry one lens. So I purchased a Leica 12 to 60mm f2.8 to 4.0. Now there's always a compromise with the type of lens you carry. I would like a lens that was a little bit faster, but that's part of the compromise that you make when you purchase a lens. This lens, I can also use it for a little bit of macro work, which really helps for the B-roll footage I capture when I film my bikepacking rides. Because I'm filming, I use the Freewell ND filters. There's 2 of them. One of them's from 1 to 5 stops and the other one's from 6 to 9 stops. The action camera, I think, is kind of an essential on bikepacking trips. I've been using a GoPro Hero 10 for a couple of years now. To be honest, I'm not really happy with this camera at all, and I'm about to upgrade to something else. The reason is that this camera has proven to be super unreliable. The amount of times it freezes on me, it stops recording, it's just no longer a camera that I can rely on when I need to. So I've tried using an external cache battery. I've restored it to factory setting numerous times, but none of these things seem to fix the issue. I will be upgrading to an Osmo Action 5. The reason is it gets really good reviews. I've spoken to a number of people and they're really happy with the product. So I'll be using that for my next film. Audio is super important when you're filming your rides. It just adds that depth to your production. The main microphone that I use is the Rode Video Mic NTG. I'm not an audio expert. I got this because the reviews are really good. I'm super happy with it. I used the dead cat on it as well to cut down on the wind noise. I've also got the Rode Wireless Go that I use if I'm doing interviews or if I use that on my action camera. It just means you're getting a lot better quality audio when you're talking into the camera when I'm riding the bike. If you really like this content, really appreciate it if you could subscribe, like, or comment. Sometimes I take a lav microphone. It's the same one that I'm using just now. Again, it just allows for a bit more focused audio when someone is talking, but it just depends whether I take that. It doesn't take up any space or any weight at all. For a long time, I took a Joby GorillaPod with me when I was bikepacking. Now, this was great. It didn't weigh much. It fit easily inside my frame bag. But the main drawback I had with it is that all of my shots were restricted from being about 30 centimeters or 1 foot off the ground. Now, this is not necessarily a problem. From a creative perspective, I wanted a tripod that was offered a bit more flexibility in how I film. I upgraded to a Peak Designs travel tripod, the aluminium version. This definitely weighs a lot more than the other tripod. It's very easily inside my frame bag, so it's super quick to access whenever I set up my shots. It also gives me a bit more flexibility when I am taking photos. Sometimes I also take a GoPro 3-way tripod. I'll use this when I am riding my bike and I attach the action camera to the end of it. I also use this sometimes to attach a light to, which I'll talk about in a second. I'll probably carry the 3-way tripod in my feed bag so I can access it really quickly when I want to do a shot when I'm riding the bike. I've got 2 bags that I carry my cameras in depending on the bike that I'm carrying. If I'm riding the Surly ECR, I carry a Mindship Photocross 10. Now, this is a really comfortable bag. It just goes over one shoulder with a waist strap. In that I can fit my camera, the 2 lenses and my microphone. The reason I like to carry my camera and equipment on my back rather than on the actual bike is just to reduce the amount of vibrations that the camera will experience. Therefore, hopefully, touch wood, limiting the amount of damage that I'll do to the camera and lenses over a period of time. The Photocross bag is got a reasonable level of waterproofness to it. So it also has a rain cover, and if it gets really wet, I actually carry a dry bag inside there as well, so I can put my camera inside that just to avoid it getting damp or wet. Because the gravel bike I ride for bikepacking is a little bit more aggressive, and I wanted to simplify my setup, I used the Evoc Hip Pack Capture camera bag. Now, I found this to be really awesome as well. Super comfortable, really easy to get the camera out by just swinging the bag around. It also fits the microphone in there as well, which I want to be really accessible when I am filming. The extra stuff that I carry a Lume Cube. It's small, it's tiny. I use that because the Lumix cameras, the Micro Four Thirds cameras, are not necessarily the best in low light. So I would occasionally set that up if I'm filming in the evening. And I also find the Lume Cube is great if I want to get some astrophotography shots and light up the foreground. Of course, I carry a basic cleaning kit that I'll store in my dry bag. That's just got a puffer, a lens cleaner, a cloth, and a couple of other little things just to make sure I can keep the camera clean and maintained. For the main camera, I'll probably carry 3 or 4 spare batteries when I'm filming. I'll also carry a cache battery that makes it easy to recharge any of the camera batteries. Very occasionally, I do use my iPhone for filming shots. The main reason I've used that is because the action camera has been so unreliable. Probably noticed that I don't carry a drone. Now, there's multiple reasons that I don't carry a drone. None of them in themselves are significant reasons. I probably will get a drone one day. One of the main reasons I don't carry a drone is up until recently, I felt that I've still been learning how to use the camera. I didn't want to complicate it by having something else that I was learning how to use as well. Other reasons I don't carry a drone at this point in time is that it takes up enough time as it is with me getting out the main camera to film shots, and I feel if I had a drone, that would add a bit more time to getting the shots, which would cut down on the amount I could ride each day. Again, it's not a significant issue, but it is something that is a concern for me. Another one is where do you store that on the bike? I'm definitely not an ultralight bike packer, but it would mean that I would need to create space for that. And the final one is probably cost. I don't want to at this point in time go and spend that money on a drone when the system that I have seems to work pretty well. That being said, I hope to get one sometime in the future. That is my camera setup that I use on my bikepacking rides. Hopefully you found this a little bit helpful. As usual, if you found this content enjoyable or helpful, please like, subscribe or comment, because it really does help out the channel. And stay tuned for part 2 of this little mini series of how I film my bikepacking rides, where I'll go over and show you some of the techniques and things that I do when I'm actually filming my bikepacking rides. Thanks for watching, and catch your next ride.